Hello, my name is Matt Hips, and this is my budget proposal for the Sophomore Transition Experience Program, or colloquially, the STEP program. We'll begin with the overview and the need statement. So as Sarah Lipkin notes, sophomores tend to experience anxiety, and as a result, some simply withdraw from the institution or begin to fail in response to sort of the overwhelming nature of college. They aren't freshmen, and now they're having to make more difficult choices about their experiences, and they need support systems. And so we know that the sophomore transition is a bit different than other transitional points in a student's academic career. As institutions, we tend to accept the fact that our first-year students are going to struggle with classwork, the adjustment to college-level academics, and separation from their families. However, there's very little evidence that students have gotten beyond this transition by the time they enter into their sophomore years. In addition, the sophomore year tends to be the point where institutions start to ask their students to engage in more significant choices about their academic pathways, their major, and their career choices. This requires programming that is intentionally designed to help sophomores navigate this exploration, not only of themselves, but of the world around them. And the research shows that sophomores indicate that their primary reasons for leaving their institutions tend to center on the fact that the institution no longer met their needs. Usually, this is a result of the fact that they have really high expectations based on their experiences during their first year. During their first year, institutions tend to create programming that is designed specifically to help their freshman students navigate the college experience. However, by the time they're sophomores, our institutional expectations have changed, and so we believe that sophomores should be prepared to do all of the things that they were unable to do while they were freshmen. This leads to sophomores leaving the institution and deciding not to return for their second year of studies. The National Student Clearinghouse indicates that almost 76% of freshmen returned for their sophomore year. However, at Dalton State College, that number dips to 64%. In addition, Dalton State is losing approximately 1/3 of our associate degree students after their first year. This percentage has remained constant over the last several years, indicating this is likely not a result of the pandemic or any independent factor that's affecting their likelihood to return. This negatively affects Dalton State College's persistence rates, our retention rates, and our graduation rates. More importantly, this makes the ability of our students to make deep connections with other students, faculty, and staff extremely difficult. As such, Dalton State College needs a targeted intervention to help second-year students to become more deeply engaged in the campus community, and ultimately to be retained, to persist, and to graduate from the college. This budget proposal will address this targeted intervention with the creation of our STEP program. Next, we'd like to focus on the goals and objectives of the STEP program. The challenge that we have is how do we reframe sophomore struggles not as an institutional failure, but as an opportunity to bring about formative and substantive change for our sophomore students. The solution is the STEP program, the Sophomore Transition Experience Program, and this will provide Dalton State College with a program focused on our most vulnerable students. The program will focus on 5 different elements: interaction with faculty mentors, co-curricular programming targeted specifically for sophomores, financial literacy, a year of involvement where sophomores are engaged with the campus community and the broader Dalton community. And finally, the STEP Signature Program, which allows sophomore students to join cohorts with other sophomores, coupled with a faculty and student mentor, and get small grants for completing projects that improve the Dalton State academic community. The goals and objectives of the program are multifaceted. From an institutional perspective, the goal is to increase the retention rates of our sophomore students from the first to the second year. Right now, that number sits at about 64%. Our goal would be to get that number to 75% within 5 years. Second, we would like to increase the amount of courses that are taken by our sophomore students, thus increasing revenue and progression to graduation. And third, we'd like to increase sophomore GPAs through increased support and targeted support for our sophomore students. On a program level, the STEP program will help to engage students in sustained and meaningful relationships with faculty and staff. The STEP program will create opportunities for students to reflect critically on their purpose as it relates to their college experience and academic major. And finally, the STEP program will create meaningful opportunities for students to engage in purposeful and targeted career and self-exploration. We know that the sophomore year is the time where students usually start to begin talking about what they want to do for a career. They're starting to move out of their required courses and into more of their major-related courses, and this causes them to ask questions about how they are going to use what they are learning in the real world. The STEP program will work to help them connect their academic work to real-world pursuits. Next, we'd like to focus on the budget and finance concepts that helped to drive the STEP program and the creation of this budget. When considering the budget, we had to think about both the external and internal environmental influences that would affect our budget. From an external perspective, we focused on the USG's tendency to create unfunded mandates related to student success. Programs, including the Momentum Year, Complete College Georgia, and Pathways to Success, have made student success a focus not only of the Board of Regents, but also of the state legislatures, parents, and students at our institution. As such, any program that we proposed would need to have a solid foundation in increasing the success of our students. There are also economic concerns, as the state legislature has been hesitant to increase tuition or fees for students in the USG. Finally, the political climate has caused increased focus on assuring that the costs of college relate directly to the benefits of college, specifically that students are getting the experience that they're paying for, and ensuring that their programs are directly related to their likelihood to graduate. From an internal perspective, we conducted a full environmental scan, looking at all of the available programs at the college, making sure that we were not duplicating any existing programs, and looking for opportunities to collaborate with other entities on campus. We also conducted a review of the First Year Experience program, looking at ways that we could tie work in the sophomore year into our existing work in the first year. To address these institutional and external concerns, we will base most of our budget on the implementation of a student fee, which should offset some of the concerns over raising student tuition. This student fee will not be entirely new dollars, as there is already an existing fee for first-year students related to their first-year experience. Second, we wanted to explore resource sharing and ensuring that the areas of campus that deal with student success were all pulling their resources to create a comprehensive and complementary experience for students. We will also create a set of programmatic budget guidelines that will ensure that the money that we are using is necessary, and will create a paper trail that will allow any interested party to see exactly where money is being spent in the STEP program. We will conclude each year with a yearly budget review that will be submitted to multiple stakeholders. It will be given to the leadership of the Center for Supportive and Engaging Academic Experiences, to the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, and to the Associate Provost in the Provost's office. In addition, we will create a link that will be sent out to the campus community so they can see exactly where the money is going and the benefits of the money that is being spent on campus. Next is the organizational plan for the STEP program. So the STEP program will fit into the Center for Engaging and Supportive Academic Experiences, which is housed in the School of Arts and Sciences. It will serve as a complementary program to our first-year experience program, working in conjunction with that program to create a seamless transition process from the time a student is enrolled at the college until they move into their major at the conclusion of their sophomore year. As you can see from the diagram, there will be a coordinator of STEP who works with a teaching assistant, a faculty cohort, and student mentors. The teaching assistants, faculty cohort, and student mentors will report to the coordinator of STEP. The coordinator of STEP will report to the director of the Center for Engaging and Supportive Academic Experiences, and will also report directly to the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences and the Provost and the VPAA. In addition to the formal organizational chart, there are also formal and informal relationships that need to be built with several key areas on campus. These include the Advising Center, Supplemental Instruction and Tutoring, and the Dean of Students Office. The relationship with the Dean of Students Office is particularly important because their focus on co-curricular programming is an essential component of the STEP program. Next, we will examine the required resources necessary for the creation of the STEP program. The required resources for the STEP program will require an institutional investment in 3 areas: personnel, facilities, and a faculty development program. We will need a coordinator and co-coordinator. The institution does not have the funds to hire a full-time new position in either of those areas. So these positions will come from the reallocation of a faculty and staff member's time to take on these new responsibilities with the STEP program. This will likely require a faculty member to move from their full course load to a reduced course load and able to take on the coordinator responsibilities. A staff member will likely have to reallocate their time and have their co-coordinator duties become part of their daily responsibilities. We will also need a teaching assistant that is a student, student mentors, and faculty and staff who are willing to serve as cohort leaders, specifically in helping to mentor sophomore students as they engage with one another to create a signature project for the STEP program. In terms of facilities, we will need dedicated office space. This will not require the building of any new structures, rather the simple reallocation of existing space on campus to give us a permanent footprint. Finally, a faculty development program is required, and we will need resources from various entities on campus to turn this faculty development program into a reality. Finally, we'll examine the detailed budget and the justification for the budget expenditures. The justification for the STEP program and its budget is simple. We're losing approximately 1/3 of our first-year students during the summer between their freshman and sophomore year. That's approximately 275 students that we are losing at the conclusion of every spring semester. If the average student takes 12.6 credit hours per year, that means that we're losing out on approximately $506,000 per semester just in the students who are lost between their freshman and sophomore year. Over the course of their academic careers, if we assume that it takes the average student 6 years to graduate, as the data shows, then that's a loss of more than $4 million from that class alone. In addition to the revenue losses, there are also losses in terms of our graduation, retention, and progression rates. When students don't return, those numbers for us go down. When those numbers go down, it hurts our funding, which in turn hurts the students who remain at the institution. In addition, we also have an institutional commitment through USG mandates, through our Dalton State College strategic plan, where we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that every student has an experience that allows them to graduate and fully explore their academic career path, and through our mission, vision, and values, which push us to serve the Dalton community and the Dalton State College campus. Based on all of these criteria, we feel that the creation of this sophomore-focused program aligns not only with our institutional goals and objectives, but of our academic mission within the community. We also believe that it's foundationally solid in terms of our financial situation and will help to increase our revenues over time. The detailed budget shows that the revenues will actually outpace our expenditures. These revenues are accomplished through a reallocation of existing fees and the addition of a new student fee. A student fee of $35 will generate approximately $29,505, while reallocating portions less than 3% of the technology fee and approximately 2.5% of the student activity fee to go towards sophomore-specific programming will generate $7,000 through the technology fee reallocation and approximately $4,700 through the activity fee reallocation. This will create a revenue stream of almost $41,000. Our expenses are primarily located in salaries. The coordinator, teaching assistant, faculty cohort leaders, and student mentors will all receive stipends, as none of these will be full-time positions. In addition, we are requesting $250 for marketing and PR, $300 for office supplies, $6,200 for training and development, and $13,000 for our signature second-year programming, such as the Signature Project, our financial literacy course, and our co-curricular programming aimed specifically at sophomores. All of these costs can be offset through the reallocation of the student fees, making this program a net neutral, if not revenue-generating program at the college. We feel that this program will pay for itself within the first year of its existence and will help to drive our retention, progression, and graduation rates. I look forward to discussing this further. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.